What's up guys, Squirtle here, and this is the kind of new part of the new format that I'm going to be doing for the reviews. This is going to be the format for the episode-to-episode reviews that I'm going to do for shows that are currently coming out. It will be a little different for like full series when I just review an entire series like Tokyo Ghoul or Love Tyrant or something like that, but this is going to be the new format for episodes that are currently coming out that I'm going to try to keep up with on a weekly basis. And this one is going to be Attack on Titan Season 3. We're going to be talking about Episode 1, if you guys couldn't tell by the jacket. So, yeah, let's talk about it. So we're back with Season 3, and this is pretty much picking up where Season 2 left off, though I'm fairly certain there are some pretty critical things that I forgot because I didn't go back and watch the ending of Season 2 before watching the beginning of Season 3. So I'm sure I'm missing some crucial details here, and so, please forgive me, but I'm going to, go back and watch that before I go and review Season 2, so I'm a little more well caught up. So the squad right now is kind of working out of a little house, and they're stocking food, they're living there, and of course Levi wants them to clean, which he shows up and says, I figured I gave you more than enough time, and, busts them for having, a dusty cabin. So, yeah, and that's actually kind of a thing. This episode seemed to focus a little more on Levi, and based on the opening, some of the stuff we saw in there, I think we're going to learn a bit more about Levi's past, and there's a big thing that happens towards the end of this episode that makes me think that we're definitely learning more about Levi this series. So, curious to see what they're going to do with that. Anyway, so they're in this cabin. There's a little bit of back and forth from the, not the capital, but like inside the wall with Hanji's. I can't never remember how to pronounce her name, with her going back and forth, kind of getting some information from inside the wall, coming back out to the group. And she's also experimenting with Eren, and with that she's trying to learn how his Titan form works, or kind of get more data on him in his Titan form. But when we see it, in this episode at least, it's not muscular, it can barely stand on its own, and we see that Eren's actually hanging out of the back of it, and that was really kind of not cool. And the worst part was she goes to pull him out of it, and it kind of peels his face off. Ugh. It's a good thing he heals quickly, I suppose. So I'm not quite sure why he is that way when he goes into his Titan form. There was really no explanation, which makes me think that it's going to be something bigger down the road, or some sort of big reveal down the road, or something. I really don't know. But yeah, so he didn't really work in his Titan form, and he took an entire day to recover. I want to know what they're really trying to experiment with on him here, other than just gaining data. Is he trying to control his form better, or something? I don't know. But that was kind of the, well, that was the only time in this episode that we saw a Titan. There were no Titans in this episode apart from some flashbacks and Eren. So, I don't know, they didn't kick off the first episode with Titans for Attack on Titan? Okay, sure. Another big thing that kind of just happened in this episode was the priests from the wall cult, I don't remember their names, was murdered, and it just kind of looked like he was murdered. There was no real signs of anything that we saw when we first got into, the reveal that he had been killed. We see somebody knock on his door, and they come in, and we see a shocked look on his face, and that was it. And then, next thing we know, we find Hanji's finding him murdered. And, yeah, we kind of pieced together afterwards that the Interior Wall military police had been the ones to murder him. And we know this because she talks about how the guy guarding the door, his knuckles were all, cut open and bruised. And we also see that it was probably torture because they had pulled his fingernails off. And this told Levi that when they pulled off one and they continued, that because it doesn't work after you do one, I don't really know if that's the case. You pull off one, I might, try to bear it. You pull off all of them, I'm probably going to talk at some point. But yeah, Levi takes that as, no, they're fine. There's no concern, no worry in the world. He's, he wouldn't have told them anything, and if that helps him sleep at night, fine by me. But yeah, he's dead now, murdered by the Interior Wall police. So that's something. And now they don't have any more details on what, or well, they won't know anything more from him. They've lost a really good contact in terms of getting information about the wall and things about the wall. So yeah, that's kind of a loss. Getting back to the group, we actually see that Krista, or Historia, she has kind of developed more as a character in the sense of she's no longer this, you know, good girl kind of thing, you know, this talkative, smiley, whatever. And Aaron even pointed out that, like, when she acted like that, it was almost clear to him that it was a facade. And I kind of like that he was able to piece that together, considering that, you know, he himself is somebody who doesn't really ever put on a facade. He has one specific goal, he's aiming for it, and that's it. He is on that mission, he is on that goal, and I guess with him being that way, he's able to see through the facade of other characters, kind of going, yeah, no, you're putting on a face. You're not actually doing what you claim to be doing. And I kind of liked that about him, but it also shows, rather, that Historia is becoming her own character, is less reliant on others, which last season we saw that obviously she was very, very capable as a fighter, which was very, very awesome to see, but she's definitely working towards, I guess, finding a new goal, because Ymir is gone now, and she doesn't have somebody to protect, or somebody to protect her. I guess we'll see where that goes from here. This episode, allow me to rant for a minute. This episode was very much a kind of continuing season first episode, and what I mean by that is, like, first seasons, they tend to really go on with kind of showing off this, look at all the stuff we're doing, look at all the stuff that we're able to do, and the animation and the story, and it really kicks off. I mean, the season 1 of Attack on Titan was amazing, but a continuing season, some of them do this where it doesn't really feel like a whole lot happened in the first episode. They usually save it for the second episode because they know that people are already invested in the characters. So I think that's probably what they're going to do here, where we're probably going to see a big kickoff in terms of action with episode 2, maybe even episode 3. But with the beginning of this season and episode 1, it definitely doesn't feel like they really wanted to push anything too far, because they knew that they were going to kind of pay off the patience of the viewer with the next episode, because the viewer's already invested at this point. Anyway, that's enough of a rant for that. That's my thoughts on the way that they did this first episode when it comes to the story. The big moment of this episode kind of came when we see that Historia and Eren are wanted by, I guess, the government or the military or something, but they're wanted, and they are trying to figure out a way, the group is, rather, to give the people what they want, in a way, so that they can track them down and take them out. And we see that Eren and Historia are actually, they're brought into the city in a wagon, and they're hidden from everybody else, and then they use Jean and Armin as decoys. And just as they expected, Jean and Armin are captured and taken to a warehouse. And poor Armin, he got just felt up by a dude, which was, I feel bad for him. It was kind of funny, though, but I do feel bad for him having to go through that after he's been through so much crap already. And then, of course, Jean's just like, I don't want to have to go through this again. And yeah, but Mikasa and the big chunk of the group actually came to their rescue, which was really cool to see. Mikasa just wrecked shop. We see, not Connie, God, I can't remember some of these characters' names. The food girl, god damn it, she shot an arrow to keep the one dude from shooting at any of the other members of the group. And Levi was he realized that the group that attacked them and took Armin and John were amateurs, and he's like, this doesn't seem right. Like, the military police are way too proud. They wouldn't use amateurs. And he pieces this together and sees that there was this kind of like disconnect of like, no, this doesn't make any sense. Why would they use amateurs? Then he realizes, or remembers rather, that somebody that he knows, I guess, was also after them, or that, I don't know exactly how he pieced it together, but we see a reveal of a character who we have kind of seen throughout the episode. We saw them spying, we saw them following, and then we see them attacking Levi and the group. And we see two characters that Levi has been interacting with through the episode get annihilated. Yeah, they were taken out in one pretty quick fell swoop. 2 shotgun blasts. And that was it. So those two characters are dead, and we see Levi he's hiding, and we see this guy climb up onto the building. He's got this really interesting armor. I don't know what kind of armor or what kind of suit it is. So I'm gonna kind of save that for once I know a bit more about it, but it looks like the 3D maneuvering gear in a way, but it also has guns attached instead of blades, so I don't know if it's modified to be more effective against people rather than titans or what, but it was really cool to see. And we see that Levi knows this guy. His name's Kenny, and the group, basically one group surrounds Levi, and Kenny, I guess, is the leader of this group. So that's where the episode ended, was Levi yelling Kenny, which is part of why I think that since we're so invested in Attack on Titan already, we're probably going to end up seeing this pay off in the next episode. That's my guess. I really hope that's the case, and I guess we'll see in the next episode. Now, I saved this piece for last because I knew that this was probably going to be the one that stirs up a bit more controversy, especially considering what happened the last time I said something like this. But the opening. The opening, because we didn't see an ending. I guess the first episode doesn't have an ending, but the opening. The opening really caught my attention, and not for a good reason. And let me explain why. So starting off with Season 1. Season 1, the opening was phenomenal. It was such a great opening. And it really gave you this crazy sense of, hype and action, and you didn't know what you were getting into, but you knew it was going to be awesome, and it was just fun. Just plain old fun, and just felt epic. And I don't use that word too often when it comes to describing genuine emotion with these shows, but it felt epic. The second opening was also good. It was not quite to the scale of the first opening, but it was still great, and it had that same feeling to it. Same thing goes with season opening 3. Opening 3 was phenomenal, and I mean, everything has this sense of, a giant battlefield fighting titans, the titans attacking, this just cuts of things you don't understand yet that will eventually piece together, and this, assault on the senses with both visual and audio, and just, it was awesome. And the scale of the music, the combination of violin, guitar, drums, rock, and symphony, and military, it was this just incredible, incredible opening. This opening, I didn't feel that at all. In fact, I felt more hype and more kind of curiosity and excitement from the little opening button where we see, I'm assuming, a future Eren talking about what he thinks is outside the wall and wanting to see it and all that stuff. I felt more hype from that and more excitement from that than the opening that followed, and that's usually not a good thing. And I get it. The last time I said this with, the opening for My Hero Academia, it was one of those oh, hey, it fits the manga. Listen, I'm an anime only for Attack on Titan. I've only read up to where the anime stopped. So I don't know what's happening this arc. So to say, if you are going to say in the comments that, yes, it's, it matches the tone of the arc, that's fine, and I'm sure I'll appreciate it by the end, but the problem is that it doesn't, and I feel this way about every opening, whether it fits the tone of the episode you're about to watch or not, it's supposed to get you excited for the show as a whole, and I really feel like this opening missed that. And while the animation is still incredible, Season 1 hooked me with the animation, and they're holding up to that through all of these seasons, which I love. The animation fits the show, but the music doesn't fit the series as a whole. So everything pieces together when you're watching the episode. The music fit in the episode, the music fit at the beginning, but the opening didn't fit the series as a whole. At least I don't feel like it. I mean, yeah, it fit this episode because this episode didn't really have a whole lot going on, but it just, I don't know. I mean, just listen to the comparisons between all three of these. It's such a stark contrast. I mean, I'm going to stop talking. Just listen to it. And we didn't get an ending, so I can't really compare the ending song to maybe think that it's more energetic than the opening, or vice versa. I don't know. I don't know how the ending could be less energetic than the opening, because the opening is already very unenergetic. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I can already hear the hate. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I just feel like every episode should be hyped. I felt hyped from the episode. It's just the opening was kind of a disappointment for me, considering just the absolute masterpieces of the last 3 openings. But those are my thoughts. Anyway, I've kind of rambled quite a bit on this episode. I feel like we're going to get a lot more scale and a lot more excitement in the coming episodes, especially with the way this episode ended. It's just that this definitely feels like a, hey, you're invested in the show. We're going to continue to, bring the action, just not in this episode. This is your intro episode, so enjoy being invested while not getting a whole lot out of this episode. Now, that might change through the series. I genuinely hope it does. But, yeah, that's kind of my feeling on this episode. And I also hope that we do get to pay a little more attention to Levi this episode, because I want to know what makes him so powerful. Like, we learned a bit of his history in the one OVA, which was great, but I want to know more about his past, especially now that we know that he knows a guy named Kenny, which I don't know if that was alluded to in the OVA. Maybe it was. I might have missed that, but I didn't think that it was. But I've been wrong before. So let me know what you guys think. Did I miss any major details from Season 2 to Season 3? I'm sure I did, because I didn't do the proper catching up before I got into Season 3, which was my fault, but yeah. And also, let me know what you guys think about the new review format. Yes, the episode-to-episode is kind of rambly, but I'm basically taking the information that I can piece together from immediately after I watch the show, going right into the review with a little bit of kind of, scribbling down some notes in between so that I can at least structure it a bit better. So let me know what you guys think. Is there anything you'd want to improve? Don't say do a reaction, because it's unfortunately not going to happen. But, yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I'm also going to be starting to put up polls each week with 3 polls, doing videos of full series. So let me know what you guys would be interested in seeing. I might put those up. And, yeah, other than that, like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Comment, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Make sure to be there and have a good one.